Hello everyone to another episode. Today we're taking a look at Helix. Helix is a model text editor. So why use model in the first place? So this sort of text editors use modes to differentiate how it operates, right? You can insert the text, but you can also jump around the file. Select the whole word, you can select the whole function, you can do a lot of things. You'll see some examples very soon. Lastly, if we are talking about model editors, why choose Helix over Vim? Well, Helix has a little bit of a different approach to model editing because you actually first select the thing and then you do the action. In Vim, it's the exact opposite way. In Helix, you start with selecting the object, so select a word and then delete it. And for me, that's just so much more intuitive and I just like it better. The second, much smaller reason is actually that Helix is written in Rust. Obviously, we'll talk about Helix in terms of coding. So is it worth for coding? Yes, it is, but please bear in mind and remember, this is mostly a text editor. It's not a fully blown IDE. And it doesn't even try to be. It's a text editor. And you do other things in other tools. Should everyone learn it? Absolutely not. I believe personally that IDEs are very good, especially the ones from JetBrains. You know, I'm a fanboy of JetBrains and I really love to use them. Still, learning something new is always fun, at least for me, so that's why I picked it. So Helix, as a text editor first, has a lot of limitations in terms of coding. And one of the first ones is actually debugging. For Rust, I've already seen somebody tried debugging with Helix, but it actually shows you the memory addresses of the variables rather than values. It doesn't really work that well. You also don't have any Git implementation or Git client in Helix. You have no profiling or no possibilities to deploy your code. Although you should be using CI/CD, but that's beside the point. That is one of the limitations. So what can you actually do? Let's take a look. First of all, you've got a lot of Vim-like things, Vim-like movements, Vim-like commands, and so on. Let's check it out in practice. Add text at the very beginning. Here it is, right? Beginning of the line. Or just jump to the end and add another text. You can do a lot of things this way. You can also jump to the very beginning or very end of the file quite easily. You can always easily include a new line below or above the line that you're on. So let's say I want to add a new point above. Here is how I do it. You can also easily mark the whole line and use it with the next delete, copy or something like that. So let's say, let's copy those lines and let's just paste them. Yeah, and you can undo, redo quite easily. This is obviously something that IDE can do. However, well, look at that, how easily we can do it in here, right? You can also select all of those lines and change the indentation, because that's the thing you want to do. And that's the thing we do in coding, right? So as you can see, there's actually quite a lot of things that you can do. Also, something very interesting and very cool is that Helix is based a little bit on Kakoune, which is another editor, which means it's got, in terms of comparison to Vim, it's a little bit better with multi-line selections and multi-line editing. So we go X to select all the lines, then we press S to split the selections, and now you have to remember we're actually using regex, unfortunately. So yeah, if you fix a bug with regex, you've got 2 bugs, we know. So now we cannot use the plus sign on its own, we have to escape it. So escape plus, then enter, then C to change, to once again the minus, escape to be in normal mode, and comma to remove the selections or multiple selections. Alright, what else do we have in Helix? Because editing text alone is not really so fun. But Helix actually has a full-blown integration of tree-sitter. So it means it understands the code, it understands the definitions, the references, the brackets where it opens and where it closes. It understands what is the word, the paragraph, and the function. We'll see that in a second. What else do we have? We actually have the full integration of LSP. So we have the language server protocol, which means we also understand symbols, diagnostics in the language. We also have a code actions and a lot other things. Let's see it in action, right? So here is the project I'm working on, and then let's select all symbols, and I actually just want to see an implementation of error. Here it is. We can also just browse through all of the symbols in here. We can also see all of the diagnostic messages. Here they are. Most of them are the function is not used yet. And let me show you one more thing. So let's go to this file and let's remove domain module from here. So we select it, we delete it, and then we go again to domain. Then we go to the top of the file, and as you can see in the first line, on the right upper corner, you see file not included in module 3. So we can actually go space A to select code actions, and one of those is, well, insert mod domain. And this is what we are going to do. So hit, there is no change in here, and that's good. But we can go to the graphast file, and here it is back again. Alright, that's a good example. So here I am on line 13, and my cursor is on the iterator. So if I go space K, I can display the documentation of iterator. Let's take a look at the parts. And let's say I don't like the name, right? So let's rename that. So it will no longer be parts, it will be words. Here we go. And as you can see, the change is obviously not only on the line 11, but also on the line 13, which is appropriate. Let's jump back in to my presentation. And here we've got a matching mode. That's really cool, actually. So very simple things first. We can actually jump to the matching bracket with double M. And actually it's a little bit easier to see in selection mode. So double M brings us to the next match. So we select the whole word with MIW. Then we surround it with MS quote, and here it is in quotes, right? Then once again we select the whole word with MIW, and we actually want to remove those quotes around. So we go MD as delete and quotes. We can also remove the brackets, right? So MD bracket. Here it is removed. It's actually required in this place, but it is something that you can do quite easily. Map inside the function will select the whole function without its declaration. However, if we go in here and go map around a function, that actually includes that definition, and you can just delete the whole function here. Oh, we can jump around the file quite easily. Go to the top of the screen or go to the bottom of the screen, right? Go to the center. You can do that easily and jump around however you want. If we are at the top and we want to move the screen rather than the selection, then we just use Z for the screen space. So we go Z and bottom. So let's move the screen to the top. We're at the same line. We just placed it at the top. You can go just Ctrl D to scroll down or Ctrl U to scroll up. So that's also a possibility. So now we're finished with an overview of Helix. This brings us to slides. And slides is something that I've been using all along. This is the thing that you see on the left side of your screen. And this is something I picked up from a YouTuber, Luke Piglietti. I hope I pronounced that at least sort of okay. His videos are awesome. He does make videos about Helix, and he also mentioned slides and GraphEasy. Within slides, you can actually put in code snippets. One of the things that you can put in is actually GraphEasy code snippet, which renders to something along the lines of what you can see right now on the screen, which is a simple graph. And I really wanted to use that, but it's a Perl program, so it requires to download some sort of environment, and it's a huge download actually. This is why I decided to do my own version of GraphEasy. What I intend to write is in Rust, so the code that you actually saw is actually the start of something that I called Graphast. Let's see how that will go, but that's a story for another episode. Thank you very much, guys. I'm very happy we've been here. I'm happy we had the chance to talk about Helix, and see you in the next episode talking about Graphast, or at least the beginning of it. And as always, we can do better as a pack. Bye everyone.